For today's video, we're looking at Transformers Legacy Evolution, Buzzworthy Bumblebee, Origin Autobot Jazz on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, action figure fans? Way I Got It Figured back with another Transformers Legacy review. This time we're looking at the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Legacy Evolution release of Origin Autobot Jazz. This figure was a dream, come true in a sense for a lot of Transformers collectors to get the Cybertronian mode of Jazz straight from More Than Meets the Eye way back in good old 1984. I picked this figure up at Target. I do have two more coming from, I have one more coming from Hasbro Pulse and one for a buddy that I pre-ordered for him, so I personally have one more coming. But this one I found in stores, so I went in and picked it up. That's what I could get the review done. So here we are. So we're going to do as we normally do. We're going to go over the packaging. We're going to go over the figure. We're going to go over the alt mode. We'll do some talking about good old Jazz, and we'll do a comparison with Jazz, with the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Jazz, as opposed to the Studio Series 86 release from 2 years ago. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna start right now. Alright, so there's your package. Origin Autobot Jazz, Buzzworthy Bumblebee. They got some new pictures here of RC, Optimus Prime, and nothing really there, which is different than the one that had Mirage and stuff on it in the previous version of this package. Nice picture of Jazz. Transforms in 20 steps. And he has an evil fusion gimmick with the gun and the grappling hook. And he is a Legacy Evolution figure. Alright, we're going to get Jazz out. Look at him and his accessories on the turntable. Let's get to it. Alright, so we got Jazz on the turntable. Back from the days when the north side of Cybertron was blacker than the inside of a drive shaft. I got a little weirdness going on with my turntable here. There we go. So as you can see, it's a more or less faithful interpretation of the robot we all know and love, along the lines of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Origin Bumblebee figure. Taking a swig for the working man. And it's looking good. He got kind of a sizable backpack, but that's okay. It definitely gets the point across, and it's definitely Jazz. We can recognize him as such. I do see a lot of similarities with him in the Studio Series 86 figure, even though I don't think there's any reuse. This is an entirely new figure. So while there are similarities, there are no shared parts between them. And he's looking, he's looking good. So he comes with the two accessories. He comes with his signature photon blaster, although it's cast in black, not painted like the Studio Series version was, and his grappling hook that we don't get on the Earth mode version, which, you know, I mean, it's a shame, but it's not really that much of a shame. He didn't use it in the movie. And I'm pretty sure when they did that jazz, they didn't know they were going to be doing this jazz, so it's okay. Don't see specifically a port for blast effect, but he definitely looks like it will take the 3mm port, and unfortunately I don't have a blast effect here to show that, but perhaps when I do, I'm thinking of doing a short for this, so if I do a short, then I'll show the blast effect in the short, if it you know, if it works. Just taking a look at the articulation of Jazz and the details. Of course, he has a faux chest, which a lot of times people complain about fake parts, but to get the character to look like he did on the show and it turned into the vehicle that he turned into, I mean, it couldn't be anything else. The portrait is spot on, looks like Jazz. You could be accused of thinking that this is the exact same head that's on the Studio Series 86 version, but it actually isn't. And when I do the comparison, you'll see that. But looks just like Jazz as much as the other one does, so it works. And you've got obviously transformation aided posability. He does swivel at the waist, swivels at the thigh. There's a generous, if not full, knee bend due to the parts on his back of his knees, but you can still get him in some pretty nifty poses. He does have an ankle rocker, so they didn't skimp on the articulation. Blaster goes in very easily. He can hold this if you want him to hold it like it's a separate part, or you can retract the hand as if you were going to transform it, and then there's a port in here that accepts the post for the grappling hook. Yeah, Prime, use this as an emergency brake. There you go. And again, posing is pretty generous. It's not going to fall over or anything. So all in all, it's a good figure. If anything, I'd be more worried about how badly he was going to yellow than any other concern. Let's see if we can get his gun in his hand a little better. That's about it. Ooh, sorry about that. That's on me. So you got a balance. There's a little bit of a balance with the things on the back of his leg, but it's not difficult to overcome. yeah, I mean, it's a good looking figure. So next up, we're going to look at his alt mode. Alright, so we've got Jazz in his vehicle mode. And there he is, looking like 1984. So the figure does not have like wheels. I guess he's supposed to be like a hover car or something. Even though, you know, Bumblebee actually had wheels. And he's kind of panelly, similar to Elita 1, honestly, is what this transformation really kind of mostly reminded me of. Which is a weird way to go about that, but I mean, then there are some differences, like the full chest has to flip up and all that kind of stuff, but it's really Elita 1-ish in transformation. So so there you go, Jazz in Cybertronian sports car hover car mode. And there's not a lot to it. You know, it's got this big spoiler. He's got his gun. You can kind of see down here. You store his grappling hook there. And by the way, the grappling hook is actually two pieces. The grappling hook itself comes off of the hinge that you then post into his wrist. So I don't know why they needed to do that. There's no rope to connect it, but that's how it works. So there you go. Very cool. Now, next up, we're gonna do some comparisons. And I guess since I have it in vehicle mode, we'll start with vehicle mode comparison to Studio Series 86 Jazz. All right, Studio Series 86 Foul Porsche Jazz versus Legacy Evolution Space Foul Porsche Jazz. So look pretty cool. They're roughly the same size, even though Jazz seems bulkier in Cybertronian mode based on the panelly nature of his transformation. But they're both about roughly the same size. And they look cool together. Because there's no, you know, of course, Jazz rolls, but this one does not have wheels, so there's no comparison in that department. You're supposed to sort of just pretend. Whew. It just goes down the roads of Icon hovering. So there you go. But I did want a Cybertronic alt mode Jazz to go along with my Siege figures. So, you know, there's that. All right, we will compare him now in robot mode. Alright, so here's Jazz with Jazz, both in robot mode. They both stand about the same height, so you're not really losing out there. The proportions on this Jazz are a little bit on the thinner side. Obviously this one does not have a full chest, so his chest is looking much larger, even if it does still look, you know, like the spirit. In the spirit, it looks like Jazz. He has more of a cartoon proportion chest on this version. And I don't know, man. maybe I misspoke about the no shared parts. Because aside from the paint job of the eyes, it's hard to say if this is really a different head sculpt. I feel like it is. I mean, both are accurate, but I can't 100% say they're that different. I think they're different. They look very similar, but they're not exactly the same head. But they're definitely both Jazz. So, you know, if you're rocking the Earth mode, Cybertron mode, different shelf thing idea, probably more along the lines of what I'm doing, then you got both of these guys together, and they look great. The only thing that you're missing with the 86 version, of course, is the lack of ability to use the grappling hook, which is like I said, it's 2 parts on him, because he doesn't have any kind of port to put it there with. But third party has you covered. I do indeed have a grappling hook, third party grappling hook for my Jazz. You just sort of slip it over his hand. So there's that. But I still think this is a nice touch. Obviously, he would have been able to use this on Cybertron just as well as on Earth. So yeah, both of them look good. One's for Earth, one's for Cybertron, and I'm happy to have them both. I'm gonna move on to the final word on Jazz. All right, the final word on Buzzworthy Bumblebee Origin Jazz. Man, it's, you know, it only took 41 years for us to get the Cybertronic mode of our beloved Jazz, and you know, I'm glad I was here for it. The cool thing about it is we're pretty much at the end of that. There's only one character left that we haven't gotten who was on screen and transformed in the original More Than Meets the Eye movie / 3-part episode, and that would be Wheeljack. We got Soundwave. He's got the Siege Soundwave, can turn into the like little tower thing. Obviously you got the Tetra Jets and Bumblebee, and now Jazz. So we just lack a Wheeljack, and you know, I'm happy about that. I think it's cool. So what I would like to give this Jazz, I'm gonna go ahead and give this Jazz a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's Jazz, looks like Jazz, acts like Jazz. If you want to transform into a Cybertronic Jazz and leave them that way, you can do that. Use your other Jazz, the robot mode, whatever you want to do. But I think it's a cool figure, and certainly a worthy addition to everybody's collection. So there you go. Buzzworthy Jazz gets a 10 out of 10 rank. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody stay safe. And if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you've been watching the videos, like the video, leave a comment, watch it. Got more Transformers coming. I did push Jazz sort of to the front of the line, so there's some things I skipped over, but those things are definitely upcoming and on the way. So until the next video, everybody stay safe. Peace.
The way I got it figured.